everyone. It's Ada from Poison Rock, and I have really my pleasure to have today Jussi and Ville from Moonshot. First, how's going, guys?
Pretty good.
Going
Pretty
really
good.
well. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
Exciting times. Just before the
yeah,
album release, and it's like your hands are shaking.
getting ready. Yeah, because the Power is gonna be released almost in less than a month.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
A few weeks.
Yeah, and how does it feel? Because it's your second album.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
the first album was already released, so you got a little bit, let's say, of good. You went and did expected the release of the first album, because going to the second one, it gives you a kind of a hint.
Yeah, of course, but still, it's super exciting. Every time. Of course,
Yeah.
it's like you have got one baby, and now you're getting second one, and it's like it's even more exciting in a way. But of course, when we released the first album, it was like we started from the scratch, and everything was like happening for the first time. So in a way, it's maybe a bit easier now, but still, it's like now I think that now we're having this kind of situation that we have to like prove that this is really something that we can do again and again. And this, and it's like we're really like thinking that this isn't like a side project or project at all. This is a band, and this is the main thing for us all now. And it's like it's really
because like what I was mentioning you before, one thing that I liked going throughout all your bio and your website is reading all this point of view of seeing music, and as well not only music but as well composition of and music itself, and the statement, because how you let's say you don't do, let's say, kind of vintage old rock and roll, but it's with another key. So I would like to explain better, one of you who want to explain this point of view, because it's good and it's important to the youngest especially get to know and learn more about this, because it's kind of a truth in a certain way, because we all make like vintage music, but we can make rock and roll even now, so I wonder who wants to answer. Of course, can answer about that.
Jussi, would you like to start?
Yeah, well, so I always like to think that good music and good rock and roll is sort of timeless. So if you make good songs, if the core is great, of course the sound evolves, or somebody might say the sound goes worse when the more recent the music, the worse the sound or whatever. But in a way, as long as the music is there and the core is like good and the melodies are great and the compositions are good, so it doesn't really matter when it's made, at least for me. So vintage, there are lots of like evergreens that everybody likes, but I would like to think that the things we are doing now, they are going to be vintage one day, and in 30 years, who knows, they might check out the Moonshot album and be like, hey, this is some good vintage stuff. So it's all a question of in what time you live.
And this is important, because most men of the new generation, it's okay, if you like, I don't know, 70s music, okay, do that, but always with an eye of what in the moment that we're living today, because we lose otherwise, this type of we lose the contact with the the daily life, the moment we are living in. So we lose the contact. We live in a world, in a moment there is no longer existing. So we should apply kind of an button in between. But as well, like your the name Moonshot it has an important meaning as well. So to be honest, I never asked too much about the meaning of the name, but since I read it as well in your bio about that, I wanted to ask you what meaning as for each one of you the band name.
Yeah, I think that all of us in a band, we're having like a own, like definition and how we our own approach to this name. But it's like, actually, it was Jussi who came up to this idea, and he told us and asked that, what about this kind of name? And we all we had plenty of names what we were like thinking and speculating and what would work. And then Jussi brought up this moonshot, and then it was like it happened immediately that everybody's like, okay, this is it. This is having like this kind of magical aura, around it. And it's like, personally, I think that it's having like that kind of words that no matter are you speaking English in your mother language, it's like, word moon and shot. It's like sex, fire, that kind of,
the worldwide name, the worldwide war.
Yeah, and that's and when you put those two things together, it's like it goes the way that 1 + 1 is 3, in a way that it like expands, or it can be basically whatever, but still it's not too abstract. Or do you usually agree this thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I do, and that's true. I was collecting this like list of suitable band name candidates, and I had like I don't know, let's say 30 names, and I showed that list to the guys, and all of the guys just picked up Moonshot. So that was kind of self-explanatory to pick that one. And I agree what Ville says, and also I think Moonshot has like it's such a short and like punchy title, so it's like it's in so many places, and you can make a great logo out of it, and everybody remembers it, and it's easy to pronounce, and all these things that you kind of need to take into consideration when you pick up a band name. Big decisions. So, but this was really like natural to pick this, so it wasn't like a hassle. So that's a good thing.
Of course, like it's as well. Of course, well known. Each one of you has a past in the music scene, so we're not gonna think about it because it's well known. But going with Moonshot, what we can say would could be like, I don't want to say the main difference for each one of you, but how you can see going with Moonshot now, like this future, which with your compare it kinda to your past.
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, I suppose at this time of my musical career, I kind of like to think that I see the whole success or like establishment or like whatever you wish to achieve with music. I used to be more like serious about that back in the day, but nowadays for me it's like it's a lot more about being able to just create good music with talented people and have like the whole sort of the everyday life of Moonshot and being a part of this band, a member of this band, and being able to make music with Ville and so on. All these things are the most important things. And and I also believe that as long as these things work well,
it's gonna
usually things are going well, so that kind of automatically brings in those things that you used to be so serious about back in the day, all this like charts and how many people come to the show and how many records we sell and how many streams on Spotify. All these things, they kind of follow as long as the core of the band is doing well.
Yeah. And also it's like, I think longer you do music, more important the whole process of making the songs, making the albums, thinking about the artworks, making videos, the whole thing. It's really, really important thing, because that's basically where you spend 95% of time. Because then you are just like, of course, touring and recording stuff as well, but it's like the main thing is to do things and create things. So it's like, I think that as long as you are happy when you are working, when you are doing, then everything's fine. Because it's like, it doesn't matter if there's like a 50 or 50,000 people, if you don't like what you have been done, and if you don't feel comfortable, it doesn't count. It's like,
exactly.
Yeah,
because it does, at least I mean the main important is the core in music, but I think in a band, in a in every project, in everything, if we're speaking in a music field, if it has a core, it doesn't matter if a label has one band or two bands, but what is the essence of the core? Because if you're doing that only because, let's be honest, for money, you can do a shitty job and not have nothing to do. That's gonna be forgotten, because maybe you do one thing, maybe, I don't know, you don't even take nothing for money, for example, but it stays there. People remind it. And one of the most beautiful things is when people remind about your music, your work, even if you don't get any money. That's, I think, the best reward you can have. When they remind, for example, your word of the song, they immediately recognize the riff of the guitar, because that meant something for you during the life, that some moment of their life. This is something that is priceless. Of course, there is a support from the band, the fan. This is important. But always, like what you say is really true. But I didn't ask you yet. How do all of you just join together? Because you have kind of different, let's say, kind of not influences, but you were previously musician, which each one of you on your path, and now you join together in Moonshot. So how this happened?
Yeah, so it started with me and Mikko, the drummer. You know, we had our previous band, Disco Ensemble, and we, you know, Disco Ensemble decided to call it quits, and I still felt like, you know, I had something to give to rock and roll. So I discussed with Mikko that maybe let's form a new band, and Mikko was in. And so after that, I pretty much started to make some demos. But at that time, there was only two of us, me and Mikko. And pretty soon after that, I decided to call Ville, and I just asked him, would you like to join this new band? And that phone call ended up being like 2.5 hours long, and we, you know, speculated everything, you know, and it was such a, you know, great moments and great stuff. And Ville was in, and we started to make new demos, and you know, things started to evolve. And then a bit later, Henkka, we still didn't have a bass player, so we decided that let's ask Henkka, let's see what he thinks. And luckily he was into the demos and, you know, into the idea, and he said yes. And so this is actually a small, you know, it is a miracle that this band actually exists. I have to admit that. But hey, here we are, and
but it's just and I think that this is like we are like a living proof of this kind of magical things, that when you don't design and when you don't plan it, you know, too much, it just happens like organically, like because I just, you know, I remember when Jussi called, and I was like, you know, it took like just give me a few minutes, and then I was like okay, okay, I'm in. And then it just happened, and it was like and it's almost like 5 years ago, and we're in the same exact, you know, ride still. You know, it's like, you know, it's like it was like something like really beautiful.
Because something when it's meant to be happen, it happened. It doesn't matter which way.
Exactly.
Sometimes when you less expect, that's why you don't have to. It's okay if you have to work for yourself, for your thought, but sometimes if you let yourself go with the flow, not too much, but a little bit, you may see that things happen to you, like really, and take it, grab it, don't let it go, because you don't know when they can brings you. If it's a bad idea, just say, okay, thank you for opportunity, I move on. But if it's a good idea and it shows because you're really here, you're still here, that's a good opportunity. Because like, well, how they say, the train just only passed once, the train, you have just so that's why a lot of people, every one of us, if there is an opportunity, at least try.
Yeah.
That's well said. Yes.
And if you're having like enough tickets, you can you know, still see the trains, and then this is the one I'm going to pick up.
But one day you are going to run out of those tickets. So as long as you still have them, you better use them. You know?
Exactly.
At least you don't you're it's called you don't ride the train. Maybe if you're
no. Yeah.
In that case, you can have a dog, but those are like, I think, not even humans. No, because no one in the world can have all this opportunity in life. But of course, like your first album was released after the pandemic, right? Confession. So you had, but I read that as well, that while the first album was released, already the songs of the second album was already ready. So how do you work? You write every day.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder that myself, how we actually managed to do this. But yeah, you know, the songs, all the songs of course weren't ready for the second album, but still, you know, because we had to postpone the release date of the first album, and we had so much time in between, you know, once we had the actual album done and, you know, to the release date. There was something like over 1 year or something.
Okay.
So well, I thought, what the hell? Let's use the, you know, the drive and the juice I still had for the, you know, for making new songs. So I just started to make new stuff, and
you got the power.
yeah. But anyways, it wasn't like, you know, I'm hitting new songs all the time. It's like happening bursts, like, you know, like let's make 3 now and maybe 3 more 2 months later and whatever. But still, you know, we really had the chance to, you know, use the time that we kind of missed, you know, with the pandemic. And so even though the pandemic was, you know, it was shitty times, but looking back now, there was something good coming out of it, which is, you know, part of the songs, you know, for the second album. So
and
yeah,
of course, since you mentioned what is about, because of course it's not, you're not a, let's say, topic theme band. You are completely just out of the scheme. So if we want to say, really, I don't want to say like what message you want to send, but especially in the power, which are the main let's say inspiration that comes out, or the main, even if it's, well, for example, messages that came out from the power itself.
I think that, you know, originally when we were writing the songs, we didn't think about themes or this kind of things too much. But at some point, we just realized that all of those songs, they were somehow connected to the power team. And it was like, then we kind of accepted that okay, if this is it, let's try to, you know, make it even further, and let's try to expand this like thematically. And it's like, it can be like a power of change, it can be like power of, you know, like fighting against something or doing something together, you know. It's like, because, you know, and it doesn't have to be necessarily like masculine like power, because there's many kind of other powers as well. So it's like,
feminine power,
you know, that and that's really important thing. And it's like, when we're thinking about the first single, and our label actually picked up this Yes as a first single, we were quite happy that we can put this like positive message out first, because it's like there's so much like negativity in this world, and like pessimism and sarcasm. So we kind of felt that it's quite proud and bold statement, you know, as a rock band, to speak out and say it out, that we can do, you know, things together. We can be the change. We can, you know, we can really, you know,
but this is true. This is true as a band, but as a because it's a message that goes straight to who is listening, especially like you mentioned about Yes, or the power goes straight to the person that is listening, because it's a clear message. It doesn't have kind of metaphorical explanation taken from the space or whatsoever. Go straight. The sentences, all the lyric is straight, and you can feel it and perceive it, because what we are living, we can really, like, for example, like the start of the first line, can make the change, for example. You really, I mean, and that's a work team, solo team. Because if we make it like another, take just like a band, you make it like a team effort. Take myself, instead of putting the trash in the street, for example, just put it where it belongs. It's a solo, but at the very end is a community thing. It's worldwide.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how the change happened. That's how the world changed. And all throughout the lyrics, of course, the lyrics, the songs, because of course the last single release was a couple of 12 days ago, was The Power. Before releasing the full length, so on the 26th, you're planning to release some other singles, or it's going to be the full album straightforward?
Yeah, we're going to have one single at the same time with the album. So there's going to be one more single and a new video along with that. So,
and I like as well the video clip that you shoot our video clip really without AI, at least for now, because you can perceive it really good at the soul of the Moonshot, because that's, I think, what a fan likes to see as well, you know, the band playing, the people, the acting, the storyline, the through life, the real life especially. And about that, there is really just I don't want to pick just one song or something, but if someone has to add the album in his own hand and say, I want to start with one song, which you would get advice to them, like just listen that, or go then listen whatever you want, in your single opinion?
That's a tough one, you know. I suppose I just need to, I was going to say I need to pick just my favorite song, but I just realized that I'm not actually that sure what is my favorite song, because it kind of changes. But I'm going to pick up Ride Faster, because it's hard to explain, but that is, perhaps I wouldn't say that that's the best representation of Moonshot. But, you know, because we have so many sides to it, you know, when it comes to music. But that Ride Faster has, you know, the certain sides of Moonshot up, which I am really proud of. Let's put it like that.
Yeah. And what about Ville?
Today, I would pick today, or at least for now, I'll pick up Deep Hood, because it's like it's a bit darker, and it's really like it's deep down there, and it's really like dark story, and it's having this kind of elements that I think that when it comes to like writing this kind of songs, it isn't too easy, you know. It isn't too easy to have this kind of quite let's say, I don't know, is it weird, but kind of modern song structure that and still it feels like it's traditional pop song in a way, or rock song. And I really like that way how we managed to make it.
Release of the album, I mean, the pre-order are open, right? So people can pre-order the album.
Yeah.
There are physical copies released too? Physical copy of the album as well, or only on the platform?
There's a CD, a vinyl, also like this special edition version, you know, for the CD, and you know, all kinds of cool bundles, which can be checked out in Reaper Entertainment's website, and our website as well.
Okay, so the album, it has the limited edition, of course, has, I think, a limited number of copies, so people have to run to get it if they want.
They better run fast.
And there's lots of cool contents inside, so check it out.
Check it out. What can I say, guys? It was really a pleasure, and I don't know, after the album is out, there will be maybe some live show announced. We're gonna go a comeback interviews and just updating each other.
Great,
I would love that. So let's stay in touch, and good luck for the release of the album, and see you soon in the space in the black area. It looks weird in the
blackness. You see, in the
moon black. In the moon black. Thank you. Really, thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
All right.
It was a pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
Like a newborn in swaddling clothes.